Hello, everyone.
Hello.
This is the what? Episode not found episode, correct? Yeah, I think so. So with that, what in the world is happening to app skills in Excel?
Well, we're going to find out for sure. And we're also going to find out how Copilot can help us reschedule those meetings when there's conflicts.
We'll also get Copilot's help keeping our presentations far shorter. Not too many slides, thanks. More of the demos and talking. Yeah. And on that note, let's get started. Well, let's get started. No, I mean, we should get straight into it, but this is the episode before the ignition starts and Microsoft Ignite kicks in. There's a few messages to go through that indicate what might be talked about and being repositioned, so it's going to be a good show.
I think so. I will say before we jump in, if you are going to Microsoft Ignite, I'd love to say hi to you. So ping me on X/Twitter, whatever you're calling it, or if you see me in the hallway, just give me a shout, and I got a sticker for you, and let's get a selfie. So I'd love to have a conversation with you while we're there.
Yeah, and Daniel's taking my messages, so if you want to say something to me, he'll put it on a sticky note and tell me later.
In fact, I will do that. Let's dive into this, Daryl, and tell the audience, what in the world is Copilot and Excel doing? It's like they're breaking up but getting back together. I don't know what's going on.
Exactly. It is semi-confusing. We're going to cover two messages here to help tell the story because they are definitely related. App skills in Excel will be retired. Huh? MC1184407. How can we be retiring stuff that was there again, gone again, there again? It's gone again. Yeah. Okay, what's the story here? If you have been following the journey with using Copilot in Microsoft 365 apps, one such app, Microsoft Excel, has been quite a confusing experience. First of all, it lagged behind. It just felt like very lackluster. Then it began to bring in features that were quite useful. And you could have this chat alongside of Excel, tell it to do stuff, and Copilot would take action on your document. Fantastic. Awesome. Then things got repositioned, those skills disappeared and they were no longer there, and you couldn't even call them in Copilot. It was just gone. So we put up with that for a few weeks, a month or whatever. Then they came back again in a split experience where while you're using the chat panel, you've got to choose app skills from the drop-down. And you'll see that actually in the message, the screenshot of what it looks like. That's been removed again. Daniel?
It's like, here, get used to this feature, and then we take it away. Why? I don't know. Don't get used to anything.
Answer. We have the answer in the next message, so I won't spend too much time there.
But I feel like we don't get used to anything. Don't get used to a feature where it's at, because it may get moved. So don't get married to it.
Yeah. They say that there's change at the pace of cloud software, and then there's 10x that for AI. And let's just say that I'm going to be interested to hear the session at Ignite around encouraging user adoption of Copilot features and how to manage change. Okay, but let's move on from this. When is this change happening? So we can find out, well, what does it change into? Generally available worldwide beginning in early December and expected to be complete by late February. The app skills option will be gone. What is following that? Well, agent mode in Excel, generally available soon, formerly part of the Frontier program. This is MC1184408. The Frontier program, kind of like the early test bed for Copilot stuff, so we think we're experiencing change. Are you on the frontier? The final frontier? The agent mode in Excel, generally available soon. What does this mean? This means that the stuff we just talked about in the previous message where we want Copilot to do things to our document. And let's give me some real examples. Copilot, suggest a formula that might help give me insights about my data in this table here. Copilot, suggest some conditional formatting. Or Copilot, can you create something in Python that's going to display some insights in a kind of a more visual way? That's what we talk about with app skills. They're going away, but they're coming back, and they're going to be called agent mode. So in this one, you do have to pay attention to the screenshot. The screenshot shows you that this is how you'll be able to call those little magic spells, the agent stuff. It's the chat panel. It's all been standardized. We are seeing that same kind of format of chat panel of work and web and all that. You need to be switched to work. You need to use your little dial properties slider thingo in the chat box and say, I want to use agent mode in Excel. So yes, there are a couple of extra clicks, but you'll be able to get Copilot to do things to your document if you choose agent mode. Hurrah. It's not going away. It's just been repositioned. Any further thoughts, Daniel, before we move on from this mess? Zero
thoughts. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So what can we do to prepare? Oh, no, we'll kind of prepare. Listen to this message. Be prepared for change. When will this happen? What will happen? Where is the when? Oh, there it is. Generally available worldwide beginning early December. Funny how those dates line up. Complete by late February.
At least they do line up. That would be
alignment. Yeah. Right. Clever. Insert clever segue here.
Okay.
I can't think of anything. I'm just reading from the notes you left me in my script.
What you should say is, hey everybody, if you're on the mobile app in YouTube, click the hype button down below, and then everybody give us a thumbs up. We'd love to share this episode out to everybody. So please do that.
Mm-hmm.
Updated Microsoft 365 Copilot. Configure connected agents for Researcher and other agents. MC1184654. So this is something that I think I've been looking forward to, which is the idea of being able to connect agents to one another to accomplish even more tasks and be more specialized. So one thing that I find people are struggling with is we've got Copilot chat and we got it in apps, and we have a Copilot app itself. And when do I need to go to an agent? When do I, what is that story? How do I engage with these? And I find that it would be great if maybe we had an agent that was a more generalized agent that was connected to other agents and could call those agents when it felt like the user needed those other agents, rather than you having to think, oh, actually, I need to pick agent ABC because that's specialized for this reason. Well, that's what this is that you're going to be able to, users can enable or disable agents in a conversation, but we can have these connected agents, and it says up to 10 connected agents. So we can be able to, you're in Researcher, and I like this example. The Researcher agent could call another agent, maybe an agent that is, you have an agent around your sales data. And it can call that to get some information that would then be an input for that agent to give you an answer, or provide color to that answer. So this is, I think, Daryl, really where I genuinely feel people have been confused a little bit in that I've got Copilot, so I can see Copilot. They're confused. The first confusion is, am I talking with my company data? Right? Oh, I got to look up here. So you got to train users when they're working. If they look up and they don't see the whole work and web, then that means you're only web. Okay. All right. But if I'm on work, great. Now my company data is, but you want to do research, or you want to do some analysis. You want to do this or that. Well, you have to then pick the right agent that would, it's like, no, I want to talk to the AI and have it do my work. Right. I want it just, being able to, I think, maybe having a centralized or having an agents that can talk to each other will help with that, reducing that confusion. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it'll introduce more confusion. I don't know. What do you think?
We're starting to need to think about agents being like virtual people, that we're building teams and getting them to do stuff on our behalf. We've got channel agents and all sorts of things. This feels like, the original Copilot is like you're a contractor. I'm going to get you to do something for me. Researcher is a contractor. Researcher is now subcontracting. And it's like, I could do this, but what I'm going to do is give that job to another one who can do that, and they're more specialized in building the bathroom cabinetry. So, I'll get it to do that. I think it makes sense. It feels like, I know we axed another message in our list, but now as we're going through this, I kind of understand what it was. That researcher and analyst are kind of going to be positioned as two central points for calling other agents. We want researcher to go deep and do something, use this other agent to subcontract that task and go off and do it. And I'll make a quick mention of it, and maybe we'll find the number here somewhere and splash it on the screen. But one that we said we wouldn't cover is trying to make sure that researcher and analyst agents will be available unless you definitely, absolutely intend to say, no, we don't want that. We'll find the message, but
Daryl,
yes,
we are going to cover it.
Oh, we are. Oh, okay. Well, that was
we thought this through, actually.
We did,
and we are going to cover it.
Okay, so stay tuned. That was just a preview.
So I'm excited to see this through and see how people use this. The way it works is you can and work on an agent and say, I want this agent to connect to these agents. And then, and so you can then also have it to where I, as a user, want to connect these agents to this agent as well. Lots of agents, glad agent is not a drinking game. Subcontractor, this is what we're going to do. Anyway, so this is rolling out with a public preview mid-November, so now-ish, and expect to be completed by late February of 2026. And now that is listed under public preview, so I don't know if that means in late February we might get a actual, out of preview, maybe. So stick around. I'm sure we'll get more information as we get closer. Daryl, I don't know if you experienced this a lot, but I am in meetings a lot during the day, and I'll notice on my calendar, wait a minute, I have multiple meetings scheduled at the same time. So one of those people scheduled a meeting on top of a meeting, but then I'll also get meeting invites when I have set some focus time so I can actually get some work done. Tell us, Daryl, is Copilot going to be able to help us with managing our calendar when we have these conflicts?
Yes. And it takes a little bit to understand what it can do. Copilot can automatically reschedule one-on-one meetings, Daryl, and personal events. Daryl setting time aside to do a task. I'm adding to the title, I know, but based on your preferences. MC 1184999. All right. So picture this. In fact, picture this. I think it's on that side of the screen. We have a meeting scheduling window, and we can book some time for ourselves to do a task, complete a task. I do that because I like to block out time and say, hey, I'm working on this. I need a reminder. But also my team members can see, yeah, I'm doing stuff. And maybe I should ask Daryl if I can book time to meet with him. The very scenario that we're talking about. I could also say, hey, I want to meet with you, Daniel, and let's talk about that upgrade to using something in SharePoint. Right. So booking time. In both cases, I might think, okay, well, maybe my task is lower priority. It's something that I it needs to be done, but it doesn't need to be done this week or today. I could bump that further along. Or that meeting that I'm catching up with Daniel, it's really just a discussion about, hey, did you see the updates at Microsoft Ignite? We just wanted to set some time aside to talk about stuff, but we could bump that further along on the calendar. It's not super important. We could flick a switch as we're organizing either the task time for myself to do something or the one-on-one meeting I'm booking with Daniel to catch up with Microsoft Ignite updates. I could flick a switch and say, Copilot can reorganize this for me if someone else wants my time. I think that's what this means, Daniel. I know that it was a really long way of talking about it, and I put a story in there, but it's me signaling to Copilot that this event I am creating can be shifted to another available time in my calendar if someone else wants my time. But back to your scenario, and certainly you can tell us more about this. When someone books my time, how does Copilot know whether they are a high priority task or whether I would consider them also low priority and like, heck no, I'm still going to do this task thing in my calendar. They can wait. They can find another time.
Yeah. This is where I'm confused a little bit is we've got a meeting scheduled. We're having a one-on-one, Daryl and I. And another meeting comes along on Daryl's calendar. I scheduled the meeting saying, hey, if there's a conflict, yes. And then I can pick an option saying, yeah, look on these particular days or these particular morning, midday, afternoon, like give me some idea, give it some direction on when it should rebook. But what is the signal for it to rebook? Is it that because I've selected this feature that it automatically puts it low priority on Daryl's calendar? Meaning any meeting that comes along at the same time, someone else thought they were more important, so they booked a time, then it automatically reschedules? Is it when Daryl accepts that meeting, that second meeting, it automatically reschedules mine? Does he have to decline mine to then go, oh, that's the signal? There's so many, I have so many questions, and I don't like, are we going to get a signal eventually? Maybe it doesn't say we are here. So maybe it's an eventual where the meeting invite will have something that denotes that I'm calling this a lower priority thing, so that you could see it. Maybe other people could see it on your calendar saying, oh, there's a meeting scheduled on Daryl's calendar, but it's low priority, so I'll book over it. Yeah. Do we want that kind of culture where, I don't know, because every time someone books over a meeting I already have, it's like, why now you're putting the work on me. I have to figure out which one's more important. I mean, I like this feature. I need a little bit more idea on the signal and what it means by conflicting.
Yeah, I think this signal is us sending it to Copilot, at least to say, if something comes in, doesn't matter, regardless of who double books that time, then Copilot can go ahead and find an additional time. And the two screenshots in the message, the second one kind of helps us have a bit more choice about that. So if someone books that time over me.
No, but there's another scenario that I didn't even call out, which is you already have a meeting on your calendar.
Yeah.
and I book over top of it,
Yes.
I would totally understand it on this to say, I'm booking this reoccurring meeting. Okay, we're having a one-on-one. It's a reoccurring. We do it every week. But in 3 weeks, there's our meeting already there. Sure, go ahead and rebook that one. Absolutely. I think that scenario works out really well. Is that what this is? It could be. But what happens? My question is more of what happens after the fact. Is there anything that happens after the fact? Or is this really only for those kind of reoccurring meetings where we can't really tell there's a meeting really well down the road that this would book over? Do you know what I mean? So I think that a little more clarity in my mind needs to happen here.
Yeah. Look, it took us 15 to 20 minutes to talk through it. And even this includes the time that we've just sort of nutted it out during our recording time. Yes, it does need to be clarified. It doesn't fix the culture around people who don't care, ignore the red, no, this person's not available. Oh, I'm not even going to try finding a time. Whether they see a little annotation there from Copilot to say, Copilot may rebook this for you. Sure, go ahead and book it. They don't care. They don't check. Harsh. But yeah, what can I say more about this? That it is going to be arriving mid-November. Yeah, soonish, as in next week, during Ignite, and complete by late November for targeted release. We don't know about when it'll be released to general availability, but I'm beginning to see it in certain places now, and I'll try it out. Insert another segue here. Oh, how about this one?
Come on now.
I've got one. I'm decoupling from that one, and I'm going to actually come up with one that I predicted earlier while I was describing a message. Cast your mind back to Daryl's premonition of the researcher and analyst agents will be taking more of a role in something.
I'm supposed to be reading this, not you. Decoupling admin controls for agents on-off from Researcher and Analyst, MC1185442. So when you go in to manage agents in your tenant, so we're talking about a tenant-wide setting, you can turn off agents. It is something that you can say, I'm allowing all agents for all users. I'm allowing agents for no users, or I'm allowing agents for these people. When you do that, if you say no users, and the reason why you might be looking at this is you've got people deploying agents across your organization, and you're like, no, wait a minute. If you turn that off, you're turning off the Microsoft ones too. So researcher, analyst, those things will go away as well. So what this message is saying is that when you do that, you're actually not going to be turning off researcher and analyst agents from the list of agents, even if you turn off agents for your organization. I think this is a great thing, because if you want people to be using Copilot, but you don't want them using agents that are being thrown at them from, all over the place, maybe you don't have your governance in place, then they can still use these agents. Now, you can still disable these agents. You can go into the agents list, find them, and say, to not allow it. But so I think this is, like I said, a good thing. I do find it interesting that researcher and analyst are the only ones that are called out here. So, there's like the writing assistant and those are not called out here. So this is only these two, apparently, for now, are going to continue to function, even if you do disable agents in your organization.
You know why that is, though? It's from that previous message, right? This is us reading tea leaves. No, we don't do that. We don't do that here. What we do is we make analyzed suppositions. No, I don't know. I'm finding a word. Copilot, find a word for me.
Wow.
We look at stuff like this and we go, in future, we think that this will happen. I think that researcher and analyst agents are going to become gateways to talking to the subcontractors.
Yep. General availability, meaning when you turn this off, either for your entire organization or for you select who can use agents, this will begin December 15th of 2025. Speaking of steering, did we say steering? I don't even know if we did or
No,
not.
we didn't.
Okay.
We're about to speak of steering.
Speaking of steering, this is something we talked about in the intro. You mentioned, hey, help Copilot help us not create lengthy PowerPoints so we don't kill people death by PowerPoint. Tell us, Daryl, how Copilot's going to help us do that.
Well, first of all, it's going to intervene. And that as we're creating our 70-second slide on a very dry topic for a hour-long workshop, it's going to say, are you sure you want that? Let me help you cull this down. No. Okay, Microsoft 365 Copilot, steer your presentation length, tone, style, and images when creating Copilot. When creating with Copilot. MC 1185911. The man is going crazy as he does these messages.
It's not a very long trip.
No, it's not a long trip. I'm always on the edge for that, especially if I'm using Microsoft Edge. Presentations can get too long, can't they? Yes. But if you are creating your first draft with Copilot and you want some help, maybe you're basing it on a brand new topic, go out and research it for me. Pull it all together. Make a start. Or here's a document. I want you to base it off this document and this document and go and create me something. First thing you'll be able to do is in your prompt box, say, I want it to be, keep it to 5 or 6 slides. This is going to be a 30-minute meeting, and I want to leave room for some back and forth. I don't want to be spending time on slides the whole time. You could set it to medium or long length, 18 plus slides. I think, Daniel, I've seen at the bottom, and maybe this will change, but there is a maximum of, I think, about 50 slides that the outline will be created when Copilot's doing it for you. You can just leave it at suggested. Right. So let Copilot sort of keep your presentation to a concise length or whatever length you're asking for. Next thing, maybe you also want to use a drop down in the outline view that follows Copilot creating this initial outline. Change the tone. Maybe leave it as the suggested tone, or you could choose from any of the little radio buttons. Fine, we've seen the tone change in other places before, but what is interesting and new too is bringing in the AI-generated images experience into this PowerPoint presentation. We can use the chat alongside it and watch the digital dot matrix printer go and eventually give us an image after 4 minutes. I can't stand waiting for that, but here you'll have a little more control over that and bring some of that experience into the PowerPoint area of the app. Good additions to this. I think it'll help the creation experience and just add more to it. It is actually nice to see the PowerPoint Copilot experience improving over time. It was really rubbish when it first came out. I'm being plain here, but I would give it a prompt and I would have some fun trying to present whatever it presented back to me, like how to make toast. It's an interesting one.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Daniel, on this? Will you be using this for your next user group meeting or conference presentation?
I think for conference presentation, probably not, because I have my own template. And
you're just saying that, by the way. He will actually do it, to save him some time.
But I think that, coming from the other side of it is, you're talking about reducing the number of slides. Sometimes you're interacting with Copilot and it's like, here's a slide. You're like, no, I needed good. The information on the slide is good, but split it out on 5 slides or on.
We want more content.
Right. Like don't don't put all the bullets on one slide.
Yeah.
Put, I want a slide per bullet. So, I think a little more control on what we get from Copilot, I think is nice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is going to be rolling out general availability in early December and complete by mid-December. So it's 2 or 3 features. You'll see them appear in the Copilot experience. Go to it. Our last message today is not really in my purview, but it's certainly in Daniel's. I'll just leave it at that. That's the best I can do at this time.
Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal, Purview Information Protection, Pipe, Classifier Simulation Mode, open parentheses, Health Monitoring, close parentheses. They're like, how can we add all of the special characters in this title?
I don't know, but I've always enjoyed you calling out the punctuation in every title.
MC1185445. So one thing that has been, so when you're in Purview and you're working with trying to classify information, it could be a nerve-wracking type of experience when you're about to push the button and you don't really know how this is going to function or in your environment. Is this going to work? Are you going to get false positives and get content classified incorrectly? Are you going to have some matches that are just not right at all? Well, now we have the classifier simulation mode. And this is a quick message. We're just, those in Purview that are using Purview, you're going to know, and hopefully you're going to be like, yes, if you're in the information protection area of Purview, this is going to excite you, I would think, to be able to run a simulation to see actually what's going to happen. So you can, as an admin, be able to optimize to make that logic better. So it's kind of one of those like, I need to tweak this so that it gets the right content and classifies it appropriately. It's in my mind a pretty big deal. I think that there's nothing in worse in classifying content incorrectly in this space. So being able to have the simulation mode, excellent. And looking forward to people talking about it. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of walkthrough demos on how to do this and go through it. Targeted release worldwide. Which, wait a minute. We don't normally have worldwide on targeted release. But anyway, targeted release worldwide. Rollout begins early November, so before-ish. Completed by early December 2025. General availability worldwide. Again? Rollout begins, late February 2025. Completed by late March 2026. Wait a minute. It says February 2025. That is incorrect. It should be February 2026. Completed by late March 2026. I didn't catch myself. I was like, kind of, needing a record scratch or something, like,
nice one.
That is our show for this. I know you probably had trouble finding it. It's 404, episode 404. You probably had trouble. So to help others find it, why don't you give us a thumbs up, subscribe down below on YouTube, and click the hype button. But also, hype buttons on mobile, YouTube mobile. But also, why not just share the URL, Daryl? Why can't we have people sharing the URL? We are on LinkedIn. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're on Blue Sky, I think. We're on Twitter. Like, why aren't you sharing? People, let's get sharing. And also, we'd love to hear your comments. Leave some comments on the episode.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. And we do want to hear what you've got to say, especially after Ignite. Were we close with some of our predictions? You tell us. All right. We'll see you again next week. Oh, we don't know what next week will look like. Daniel and I will work it out. He's going to be at the event. I'll be remote and probably attending some of the stuff at Stupid O'Clock in New Zealand. But we'll see you when we do. Bye.